With Cloud Opus 4 coming out a month ago, it's much easier to create n8n workflows with just a simple prompt. As you've seen in some of these videos, they're creating AI agents which can automate that process of creating workflows. In my case, I decided to do that, but implement it into my personal Jarvis, SYRA. If you guys want to know how to build it, I have a video on my channel. It's going to be on the top right corner, but make sure to check it out. Otherwise, I'll have a quick overview of how SYRA works. Let's get right into it. I'll show you a demo and then we'll move on to the tutorial. Hey SYRA, can you create a workflow that on webhook command connects to an AI agent, which sends an email and then responds to that webhook?
All right, buckle up. Creating a workflow that juggles webhooks, AI agents, emails, and responses.
As you can see, we asked SYRA, our personal Jarvis, to create us a workflow which on webhook trigger connects to a AI agent which responds to that webhook after sending an email. So if we look at our build anything workflow here, that should be executing right about now. There it is. It's going to take a minute, so I'll be right back, but I'll show you guys what it creates, and it's amazing like what it can create with just a simple voice command. All right, so that executed perfectly in 1 minute and 54 seconds, and that's about the average here, 1 to 2 minutes. So let's look at our workflows here. This is what I currently have. If I refresh, I should be able to see that new workflow created. And there it is, AI agent. So it triggers on webhook trigger, connects to an AI agent, responds to webhook. It's just, and then it also created a tool for the Gmail instead of connecting it up here. That is amazing. Let me show you guys how you can edit this workflow with a voice command. So you don't even have to go in there to actually edit it. So let's say I want to have it add a Google Sheet right before respond to a webhook. I'll ask SYRA to do that for me. SYRA, can you also add a Google Sheet right after the AI agent in our workflow?
All right, adding a Google Sheet after the AI agent it is.
To ask SYRA to update that workflow for us so that it has a Google Sheet right before the AI agent, right before the webhook. So let's look at build anything here. It's going to be running again for about 1 to 2 minutes. All right, so it should be done now. If we look at our latest execution here, I'm going to go through the update workflow route right here. So if we look at our workflow, let me just refresh it and there should be a Google Sheet right here, unless it messed up. Good. And there it is. There it is. It added a Google Sheet right before that respond to webhook. This is amazing. It just shows how we can be able to streamline the whole n8n workflow building with AI from now on. It's obviously not perfect. You have to put your credentials. Sometimes it messes up. There's a lot of errors still, but it's much better than it was before. So let me show you guys how I built it step by step. I'll show you how I connected it to SYRA and how SYRA works, a quick overview of it. And then I'll show you how I built my build anything workflow. So let's start with SYRA and how it works. So it starts with a webhook trigger, which gets 2 parameters from our conversational agents, 11 Labs. And those 2 parameters are type and a query. So based on the type, it goes into our Supabase node, which if we look at here, our table editor, there's going to be 2 different columns that we create, a type and a prompt. So it's going to go based off the type. So let's say in this case, it's going to be a workflow. It's going to grab that prompt and feed it into our AI agent right here, SYRA. And what SYRA is going to do is it's going to trigger our build anything workflow right here. So you don't have to do anything specific. You're just sending all the data because our build anything workflow is accepting all the data. Because SYRA right here is going to build a prompt which can be used to create our workflow. All right, let's move on to the build anything workflow. I'll show you guys step by step, each node, how to create it, and what resources you will need. Starting off, I just want to give huge credits to n8n because I grabbed his developer agent template from his AI Automation Society, which is a free school community with free templates. I would definitely check him out if you haven't yet. But once you do that, you want to click this link, which is the Google Doc. Make a copy of this file, which has 2 examples of n8n workflows. So we're feeding those examples into our AI agents just so it knows exactly how n8n works, and it can either replicate it or update that replicated version. Once we do that, in these two nodes that he has is going to be a Google Drive node, which is a download operation, and you're going to grab the copied version that you got, the n8n documentation. What this will do is it will download that into our workflow, which we can extract with the extract from file. So our AI agent knows exactly what we're giving it, because it's not going to be able to read a file. Before we get into the AI agent part, what you want to do is create a Google Sheet that has 3 columns: prompt, schema, and ID. What this will allow us to do is every time that we create a workflow, it's going to append it in the schema part. And then it's going to also put the ID of that workflow in here, so that if we wanted to update it, we'll just grab the schema. We'll just grab the schema, update it, and send it out like that. And then on the AI agent, the prompt is going to be really similar to n8n. But what I did is I edited it so I told it that it has the functionality to create and also update. So as you can see here, I told it that you handle 2 types of operations: create and update, modifying the existing workflow. All right, and then in the AI agent, what you also want to do is grab that data we extracted from the file and just drag it on the bottom or top. It doesn't really matter. It should already have it if you grab that n8n workflow template that n8n has. Once we do that, the 2 tools that we're going to be using is a read sheet, which is just going to read everything. And then add, it's going to be append or update. We're going to use the ID as a reference to do that. Moving on to the code block right here. This code block is completely generated by AI. What it's basically doing is it's grabbing the query that we get from our SYRA, and it's determining if it has update or create in the workflow. And it'll create a JSON right here called operation type. As you can see, in this case, it was update. And then the switch will determine which way it will go. If it goes that way, it's going to be update. If it goes this way, it's going to be create. So let's look at the create workflow node here. If you click this, what you want to first do is create new credentials. The way to get your API is going to be, you want to go to settings down here, n8n API, create an API, and then just copy that, paste it in here. And then you want to grab your base URL and just do /API/v1. So I think all you really need to do is just put your name in there so you can copy this exactly. And that's how you create your credentials. And then you'll do create. And then the workflow object is going to be the n8n AI agents output. You just drag that into here. And that's how you create a workflow, basically. In our case, we're going to be connecting a Google Sheet at the end. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab the JSON ID that's generated by the n8n workflow node, like the create workflow node, and we'll just put it there. We're going to match it with the schema, and that will allow us to add the ID here just to keep track of it, especially when we're updating that workflow. We're going to need that ID. Finally, on the update route, what you're going to need to do is add a read sheet node, which will get the ID, which we can use to update the workflow. So on here, you'll do get rows, and then you're going to match it by the schema. The schema is going to be the output we get from our AI agent. You just drag that into there. It's going to match it with the schema, and then grab the ID on that row. Once we do that, that will let us go into the update workflow. So same thing, but instead of create, you want to do update this time. And you're just going to drag this ID right here and then do workflow object is going to be the output from the n8n AI agents. Right, and then that's how you do it. That's how you create and update workflows. Once again, credit to n8n. I grabbed his template to build on top of it. Don't reinvent the wheel. If you want to just grab my template and build on top of it, I would definitely recommend that. I'll have the template in my Discord community server if you want to just grab it from there. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.